Hi, everyone. Welcome to Amanda Bynes and Paul Sieminski, the podcast. Today, we are welcoming Dahlia Moth on our show.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Hi, I am Paul, and welcome to our beautiful guest, Dahlia.
Hello. Hi. How are you guys doing today?
My God, we are doing fabulously. It
Yes.
is so good to have you here.
Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Okay, awesome. Are you ready for the
I
questions?
think so.
Okay, great. Our first question for you, Dahlia, is what do you do for work and what inspired you to be in that industry?
Okay, so I'm a tattoo artist. I do microrealism as well as gothic realism. I kind of do a little bit of everything just to keep it fun and so I don't get kind of bored. And originally I was a model and I didn't really like the message that I was sending with that. It's not a very beneficial thing to the community and society. So I wanted to do something that was a little bit better and beneficial for society. So I wanted to do tattooing.
That's super rad. So
That's incredible.
Thank you.
if you wouldn't mind, as somebody that's not intimately affiliated with the world of tattoos, you mentioned like gothic realism and like
Yes.
microrealism. Like, can you
Yeah.
elaborate on those a little bit?
So gothic realism is kind of the dark, spooky stuff. That's kind of my niche,
Fun.
but I kind of do a little bit of everything. And with the micro stuff, it can also be considered fine line. So super small, intricate line work.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite tattoo that you've done?
Oh, that one's hard because it's like they're kind of like my kids, like all my little tattoo children. But if I had to pick one, I'd say it wasn't probably my best tattoo that I've done, but it was very sentimental because it was on my mother, and so that it was a little moth, and so I keep that one close to my heart.
Oh, I love that too.
Absolutely love that.
So what does friendship mean to you? And what do you appreciate most about your best friend, for example?
Something that I look for, especially I think in LA too, is it can be very difficult to find genuine people. So I think authenticity and just being, honest is something that I really, really value because it's not something that you see very frequently here.
Do you have a lot of like friends in the industry? How does that work? Is it kind of cutthroat or is it more like open,
I see.
supportive? Like,
Yeah. I mean, with the way that we work, at least at my shop, we're almost like a little tattoo family, right? So we're constantly working with each other. We work like all the time. So you kind of grow and you become bonded with the people around you. So I'd say honestly, my closest friends would be my coworkers. Yeah.
That's awesome. So another question, what motivates you to get up in the morning? Are you driven by relationships, money, or success?
Oh, I think it depends on the day. I think our motivations change based off of, what we're feeling that week, what we're doing, how our life is going. I think it can really change depending on that. I'd say for the majority, I think my family, is my motivator.
Love that.
That's great.
So are your family from around Los Angeles? Are they from out of town?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Canada. I'm from Vancouver. So, but my
Awesome.
parents live with me, we all live together and in a little happy little family. And then I have nephews and sisters in Vegas. But yeah, we're all very close.
That is so cool. Fun fact about me, the only time I've ever been abroad was to Montreal.
Oh, Montreal.
And it was before you needed a passport.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was like in second grade and my parents took me there and we went to that big tower.
Oh,
What's
shoot.
it called?
I
The
don't
one
remember.
on
Yeah.
Drake Views.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What'd you think of it though? Did you like Quebec or?
I really enjoyed it. It was super cool because I remember we had dinner on the tower and it rotates.
Yep, it's super snazzy.
And then we bought these like glass souvenirs of them. And that was like one of my prized possessions.
Do you still have them or no?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I wish.
My grandma and grandpa were from Toronto, Canada, actually.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were Canadian.
Yes, I am.
What?
Yeah.
We gravitate towards each other.
Exactly.
Magnets.
Absolutely love that. Oh, how long did you spend in Vancouver before?
For first 14 years of my life. Yeah. So a good majority.
So was it like kind of straight from Vancouver to LA?
Yeah.
And then what was that transition like?
I think can be, and for most people who are immigrants, pretty difficult. I think I got kind of lucky considering that Canada's like culture is pretty similar to America's, other than like lingo. Like even at work, in the workplace, like sometimes I'll say, like little Canadian slang that I don't realize y'all don't say here. So
What are some examples of? Canadian slang?
Oh, I think it might just be like the way I say it, but like we have like, so here you'll call them like bathrobes. We have house coats, or like beanies are toques. So toques, yeah, is a hat. So like,
love that.
I heard of that one.
Yeah,
That's
they'll be like,
awesome.
oh, you need a toque, and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, oh shoot, I'm not in the right country right now.
It's so fascinating to me how, you know, we all share a common language, but little
different.
bits and pieces of
Yeah.
terminology. Like if
Right.
you were to have said, for example, a toque, I'd be like, I have no idea. what
No,
you're talking
yeah, it's a strange little word.
But this is exciting. I'm glad that this can be a learning experience.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know I was going to get a dose of Canadian
Yeah, there you
culture.
go.
And
Exactly.
You're welcome.
I already feel more worldly.
There
to
I
be
do
honest.
too. Question: do you ever feel like you're very far from home, being that you're from Canada, or have you acclimated to Los Angeles?
I've acclimated pretty well. I mean, the opportunities here versus Canada, I feel like are pretty significant. So it's hard to miss. Where I lived, at least in Canada, it was mostly like woods. So there, you know, you can miss the nature for sure. Sometimes I miss the weather, but the weather here is in LA is so much better. So I don't miss it too much.
Yeah, I totally relate to that. I'm originally from Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind
You
of grew
get it.
up in like the northern part of the Pittsburgh area. So like lots of woods, lots of rural happenings in my early
Definitely get it.
life. And then transitioning to a more like urban environment, I realized like, oh, I'm a city girl.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a city girl.
For sure. Like, and now it's so funny when I go back into the woods, and maybe you can relate to that. I get this like weird anxiety.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not supposed to
Really?
be here anymore.
Yeah, it's so funny.
strange.
It's like I'll be like, I need like car noises.
I
Like
get that.
I
I
need
feel that
like
so bad.
That makes sense.
ambulances and helicopters.
Yep.
Like that is the soundtrack to like my stable, calm mind.
Right.
And like when I'm in the middle of the woods, I'm like sitting there and then there's like nature sounds
It's
and
too quiet.
yeah, it's so quiet and I'll just be like, what's going
Give
on?
me the
Like
chaos. I need the chaos.
and
Same here.
I just always gravitate because I love horror movies. So
Oh, me too.
I always gravitate towards like I'm in the middle of the woods and like
It's cabin in the woods type.
Totally.
moment. I feel that.
as a sort of like token queer person, I feel like I would be the first one to die in a horror movie setting. So that's always what I assume is going to go down. So
Oh,
it's
that's
like
so funny though.
I don't
That's
know.
immediately where like your mind goes. That's
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
totally. Like
oh my gosh.
that's a steady diet of horror movies and having many experiences
We love
in the
that,
woods.
though.
I just assume that, you know, I'm going to be the one that
For
gets
sure.
off first.
Absolutely.
Too funny. Why do you think that? Out of curiosity, is it because of like other movies you've seen?
It's because of like the movies I've seen. It's also because like I personally, and I don't know if y'all can relate to this at all. Like I don't have a single ounce of like survival skills in my arsenal, like whatsoever.
I
like,
don't either.
If there was an
actually.
apocalypse or like a
We'd be
zombie apocalypse type situation, I'm
Like,
done. Like not
white
a
flag.
I
chance.
think I would be too, actually.
Like I can barely change a tire.
Oh.
Like I
Same
think that's the
here.
most impressive thing that I can
Yeah.
do. Like I
That's
just
great that you can. I've never had to do that.
I have high hopes for me
Thankfully.
in an apocalyptic situation.
You think
I feel
you'd do
like
well?
based off of my Canadian wilderness skills, I think I would be okay. But that's also like kind of hyping myself up.
I admire that, and I think I like.
I'm sure you would. I'm not so sure I would, actually, but
It's okay, I got you. I'll
Well,
take care
that's
of
the
it.
thing.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
if the apocalypse happens,
Yeah.
I know whose clan I'm joining, and it's
Let's do
definitely
it.
yours.
Let's do
Like,
it.
yes.
For
Same
sure.
here.
Like,
Make
I'm
a trio,
absolutely.
survivalist trio.
So I wanted to ask, like, what do you like the most about like Los Angeles? Like, what about living here really kind of like does it for you? You know,
is so
lots of
good.
people come to Los Angeles for tons of different reasons. You know, I came here
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
for school originally, and now look at me doing
just-
this
yeah,
podcast.
we're-
Like, who would have thought, right?
Right.
But I was just curious, like, what does LA like mean to you?
Yeah, I'd say for me, I think like the reason why it was so intriguing to move here was the opportunities. That here is like no other place that I've seen. I mean, I lived in New York for a year. They're kind of similar in the sense of like hustle and bustle. Both of them have that, but very different aspects. So I think LA is just, not only is it the weather that's really good, but the opportunities that people here, the people that you meet. I mean, like even how we met. Like, I don't know if you remember. It was a
Yes,
while
I
ago.
do.
But like,
do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can, absolutely.
Okay.
I would love to hear
Oh
the
my
story.
gosh, how we met.
So, okay, how we met. It was Halloween or near
Yes.
Halloween, and I went to a Halloween spirit store,
Yep.
and I was working on a fragrance at the time, and I was with my ex-fiance, Paul Michael, and I spotted Dahlia, who was working behind the cash register, and I said to Paul at the time, do you think she's a model? She's so pretty. And he's like, yeah, I bet she is. And we needed a model for the perfume to be like the face of the fragrance. And so I approached Dahlia and asked her if she was a model and if she'd be interested in doing the fragrance. And she said she would. We exchanged phone numbers and have stayed in touch ever since.
Ever since. It was such like a weird, just like bumped into each other and then just like things click. But like that's LA. Like that's what's so beautiful about LA. It's just the connections that you can make so randomly out of nowhere.
Truly. Like,
Absolutely.
and that's one of the things that I think I appreciate about it the most too. It's just the fact that like you never know when you're going to meet somebody just wild and different
100%.
and fun, and like just the knowledge that like that could happen at like the grocery store, you know, that could
Right.
happen
Literally
anywhere. It's really cool. Like, and it's one of the qualities that I think
It's
I
so
appreciate
good. So
the
good.
most. But since I love that story, by the way. That's so funny. Like,
Yeah, back
thank
before.
you, Spirit Halloween
Thank you,
Store,
Spirit Halloween. We love
bringing
that.
us all together.
Exactly.
This is so incredible. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about your time in the modeling industry,
Yeah.
because I know you mentioned you kind of felt like uncomfortable with working in that field, and you've
100%.
sort of gravitated away from that. And I was just curious, like, if you could elaborate on that.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. So I was a teen model. I worked in an agency. I was signed in a 4-year contract. Not going to say who, just out of respect and stuff. But I ended up doing mostly catalog, which is like clothing brands and clothing lines. I was working with a specific company for probably, I'd say, about 3 years. There was spring and summer collection. And I was 14, and I wasn't the only model there that was underage. And as I got older, at first it was like, wow, like this is really cool. Like I'm making good money. Like I'm doing really good. I had just moved to LA I got scouted in my pajamas at a Starbucks
Crazy.
in Santa Monica. They're like, it makes cash. Do you want to make cash? I'm like, well, of course. You're 14. You're like, yeah, money. Like what?
was that like your first job? Because I know, like 14, like I was
yeah.
like cutting lawns and doing
That was
odds and
yeah,
ends.
that was
Like,
my first like full-time kind of moment. A little, untraditional, but LA, right?
living the dream.
But yeah,
obviously.
so I was doing that from 14 to 18, pretty full time. But as I got older, I kind of realized like the message that I was sending, considering that I was working for these brands that were promoting these pieces of clothing to people who were 20, 22, 21, whatever. And I'm 14. They're literally selling prepubescent bodies to the industry, to the public, expecting women to look like that. And I didn't realize the damage that I was causing, even being a part of that, because I was young and naive, right? So I grew out of it. I grew older. I wanted to do something. I went to art school. That's why I was in New York. I went to SVA my plan was to do like painting restoration. COVID hit. Couldn't afford like what they were wanting to do with the COVID situation. They were wanting us to pay the same price for online. I'm like, okay, well, Bob Ross can teach me how to do that. So
Absolutely
I'm gonna
insane.
and leave and go back to LA. And I started tattooing, hoping that I could make cash and stuff like that to go back to art school. And then the rest is history. I've been tattooing for almost 3 years now. I work at an amazing shop with an amazing boss in an amazing company, and I couldn't be happier.
What shop do you work
that.
at?
I work at the California Dream in North Hollywood.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I
That's
love it
awesome.
there. They're great. My little family.
I am definitely
Very
going to be paying y'all a visit at some point.
Please do.
because I have many tattoos
love
that I want to get.
You let me know when I'm around.
Sounds good.
I hope you'll be okay with the fact that like some of the tattoos I want to get are like really stupid.
I love
Like-
that.
I can't
honestly,
imagine them being
it's
stupid.
the better.
Oh, I can. So
What are they?
my biggest innovation right now is I really want to get an @ sign on my pointer finger so I can point
At you.
at you.
Okay. I
I've
like
done
it.
Those are the best ones because they have the funniest stories. Like those are the best tattoos to do. I loved it. I've done microwaves. I had a guy
That's
who
so
wanted a
much fun.
microwave on his thigh. It was a daisy with the stem and it said whoopsie as the stem. So it's a whoopsie daisy. Like they just make me giggle.
Oh, that's so
They're
great.
cute.
You know,
So
the microwave one has really inspired me.
yeah.
I think now I'm thinking about like appliances I would want to have tattooed on my body. And I think I want a
Right.
waffle maker.
All
I
right.
love
Like
that.
that-
I used to be the appliance girl. That's what I learned too about social media is like, if you don't want to do more of that, don't post it, because
Right.
after that I got like the leg lamp. I love the leg lamp. I did a leg lamp. I did, you know, a computer, a mouse. Like, I was the appliance girl for a second. It was
That's
fun.
so funny. I love that. That's just like your portfolio.
Right.
They're like you have to come to Dahlia
If you want
if you
appliances.
want a household
Yes.
appliance. Like
She's your girl.
Right.
you want a toaster oven,
We
you
got
want
you.
like a refrigerator.
You're in the right
like
place.
love that so much. Well, I'm definitely coming to you for my waffle iron.
Please do. love
I
it.
think it's I'm just trying to decide if I want a square waffle iron or a rounded waffle iron. Because
Decisions.
I think I like the aesthetic of the rounded one better, but to be honest with you, all of the waffle irons I have owned are square because I like the Belgian
Yeah.
waffles. So I don't
Okay,
know.
okay.
Some food for thought.
Fancy.
Literally.
Well, I'd like to be there when this happens.
Oh my God, you absolutely will be.
Okay, sounds good.
I
love it.
I wouldn't want to deprive you of the experience of
Thank
watching
you.
me get a waffle maker permanently put
No,
onto my
exactly.
body.
I have to be there.
we love emotional support buddies in the shop.
Absolutely.
Please bring your friends.
You know, every time I've gotten a tattoo, I've always been with somebody.
As you should.
I think it's part of like what I view as like the greater like friendship aspect of the experience. Because when I think about it, like for example, like when I got my face tattoos done, one of my really good friends from Pittsburgh was with me, and now every time I look at my face tattoos, I think of my friend. I think
Right.
of how fun the afternoon it was that we went and got those done. I think of the tattoos that she got done that day. And it's neat to be able to sort of like codify your
Have that memory.
experiences
Yeah.
directly into like your tattoos.
It is an experience. It's a, you know, it's a memory a lot, and it's permanent, right? So you want to make the best moment out of it that you can. That's what we try and do, at least for you.
So have you ever had a tattoo you've regretted before?
Oh, that's a good one. No, I'm honestly, I'm pretty selective with my tattoos. I'm not like I like my arms and all that stuff are pretty empty. I'm pretty selective with my pieces, but also I feel like the majority of the people that are in my industry are blasted, right? And tattoos, you know, I'm not just going to get because I want to look like I'm a part of my industry. I'm going to get them because I want to get them. So I'm like, it's almost like working in a bakery where it's like you're constantly around bread, right? And do you want to eat bread when you get home after like working in a bakery all the time? No.
Great analogy.
So it's like I'm very selective with my pieces and stuff like that. I totally forgot. What was the question?
Have you ever had a tattoo that you've
Oh,
regretted?
there we go. ADHD moment. We love that.
We're here for it.
No. I mean, maybe once. No. No, I like all my tattoos.
I love that.
I thought about it.
I love the conviction that you said that with. It's just like, yeah, they're all
like,
great.
no.
Like,
I can't say that they're all well done, but I can say that I like
you know,
them.
as
I
long,
love your hand tattoo.
Thank you. My boss is this one. For
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cute.
Nice.
Is that a moth?
Yeah, it's from Silence of the Lambs.
Wow. Oh,
With the little
Very nice.
first of all, Dahlia Moth, I have to
Thank
compliment you for being
appreciate it.
exquisitely on brand. We love
Thank you.
this.
Thank you. Well, yeah, it's actually Moth is my last name, so it's my mother's maiden name. So I
That's
take
such a
after
great
that.
name. I love it.
So amazing.
But yeah, so we have matching ones. My mom has a matching one on her shoulder.
Oh, I love that so much.
Sweet.
So
She's a
cute.
little goth.
Did you
queen.
actually do the one on your
No,
mom's
she had
shoulder?
it like years before I was born. Yeah, I matched her. I copied her.
Love that.
Oh,
So
so
sweet.
cute.
Yeah.
I have to share with you the stupidest tattoo that I
Yes,
have.
let's see it.
Is definitely, I don't even know if you can see this camera. There's my ellipses.
Like the dot, like waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, I
and
love
you know,
that.
I got this tattoo. It's stick and poke. I got
Oh.
this tattoo because I wanted to be able to be like ... whenever there's like a lull in the conversation.
God.
The
You know,
dumbest
just
thing.
like casual, like
that-
you know,
Right.
I feel as though my particular aesthetic for tattoos is like high culture trash.
It is
Like,
an aesthetic, and I can appreciate it.
and that's just kind of how, yeah, that's kind of
100%.
my vibe. It's like very sort of like camp or like
Camp.
pastiche,
Yeah,
if you will. And
love it.
I think
Those are the
that's
best ones.
that's kind of how I roll. But
I don't think it. I mean, for a stick and poke, it's pretty consistent, honestly.
yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I've thought about getting it like done in a little bit
Oh,
more
gone
just
over,
to like
yeah.
make it more obvious. Cause I've literally had people look at that tattoo and be like, is that a birthmark? And I'm like, Look at it for another like 10
like, yes.
seconds and then decide if you want to actually ask me that
Consistently
question.
even dots. Yeah.
Like, it's pretty obviously a tattoo. But then again, I also get like with my face tattoos, people ask me all the time, like, are those makeup? Like, did you
paint them on?
Do you draw those on with like an eyeliner pencil? And I'm always like,
nope, they're just there.
no, they're on there forever.
They're here to stay. That's kind of nice. So you wake up and you're just feeling like fancy.
I love my
tats.
face tattoos. Like it was such a big decision for me because I had been thinking about getting them for a really, really long time. Like I knew I wanted face tattoos, and I'm very fortunate. Like I work in the biochem industry, and scientists by and large generally don't care about like how you present yourself, how you dress, which is actually really interesting because you might think
I would
that
have
like
thought the opposite.
Exactly, right? Like scientists are stuffy people. They're academics. They're intellectuals. They're kind of like you almost expect them to be a little dressed up. And it's really not the case at all. Like any sort of like body modification, different hair, different looks are by and large pretty accepted.
Yeah.
Scientists really care about like what's on your resume. Like,
I see.
Do you have publications? Like, what's your actual experience? If you look good in that regard, you know, I can walk in with like 6 piercings and, you know, my face tattoos, and no one has even said anything about my face tattoos in my industry. They're just kind
Honestly,
of there.
I wish like everywhere was like that because it'd be so much better. Just be so chill. The fact that people are so like, they have to be so like picky with the way that they look based off of like a job or whatever is so obnoxious to me.
It's really frustrating.
Like who
to
makes
me.
those rules? Can I talk to them because they're stupid? Like no,
Totally.
don't want
Definitely.
that.
Like I just find it like really upsetting that like I'm sure some very competent people happen to have face tattoos, and there's certain industries where that's just like you know,
absolutely. Like car salesmen, I know like for a fact can't have like tattoos above the neck and like hands and stuff like that. It's like, okay, but what does that have to do with like, what is it? It's like your image. Your image isn't, nobody's image is going to be perfect for everybody.
Right. And nobody cares anymore if people have face tattoos.
No,
like,
not at all.
Matter.
It shouldn't. No. I think they're cool.
I think speaking for myself, if I were in a car buying scenario, which perhaps I will be sometime soon,
would look for someone that,
universe, I would preferentially go to the person with a face tattoo.
Yeah.
If you had a face tattoo.
Actually.
They don't think about that. No. It's like you want to talk to the person that you vibe with the most, and that's generally people who have the same interests.
1,000%.
Yeah. It's so weird. I can understand it.
You know, I do feel like, though, as a culture, I think we're moving kind of into the right direction with
slowly.
this. Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of hope for the generation behind us. Like, I'm a millennial, full disclosure. I'm kind of an old person. But I have a lot of hope for, like, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I think is the one after that.
I don't even know.
They are already on to the next one.
Get it.
But I think that one of the things that I really like about younger people is that things like tattoos, appearances, they really tend to just not care about.
Yeah.
In the same way that even like you'll find people in like my generation still being a little particular about things like this. Like I personally have never been that way, but I've definitely experienced like, you know, a little bit of disparagement just because like I am an extremely alternative looking person, and some people are just like still
not about it.
Not cool with that, which is fascinating to me.
Yeah. I feel like I'm on the verge. It's like some people are like, oh, she's too normal to be goth, or she's too goth to be normal. So it's like I'm in this weird like little limbo area, which I kind of like though. It's like, ooh, what am I?
No, I love that. It's nice to be able to vacillate back and forth between those two as well, I feel.
Yeah, it's for sure. I like having that little like chameleon, being able to chameleon into my environment.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Same here. Let's see. Are you a night owl or a early bird? Sorry to jump right back into the questions.
I love it.
There was an awkward silence, so I thought I would jump in.
We love that. I'd say I'm probably a night owl. I'm not a big morning person. I don't know. I get pretty like angry in the morning. Like I don't know, maybe it's hangry. Maybe I'm just like hungry, and it's like it's been like 8 hours of sleep and I just want food, but I'm like not a nice person in the mornings.
I am such a night person. It's like not even funny. Like I will go to bed at like 4, which is really funny because like, for example, like this morning, like I went over to hang out with Amanda for a little bit before we went over to get started here. And like, I got there and you had your makeup done. You looked amazing. You're wearing an awesome outfit. You like went out, got us iced coffee. And I'm like, I just kind of like got out of bed. Like I'll do my makeup right before we like, I don't know. But like nighttime stuff, like I'm good. Like if you need someone to stay up to like 4,
I got you. Yeah.
Totally. Like no problem.
I don't know. I think also with going back to LA though too, it's like it's really easy to get like into the nightlife because of LA.
Totally.
Too. There's so much fun stuff to do, you know?
Oh my God.
Working
like,
all day.
Parties don't really get popping until after like 11:30.
Oh, literally.
Everyone knows that.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what is your Instagram so our viewers can follow you?
Yeah, for sure. So my work Instagram is dahliamoth.inc. And then if you want to follow me on my personal, which is more of like my modeling stuff, you can see it's at Dahlia Moth.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Dahlia, for being our first guest on our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
We
loved
had
having you on the show.
So much fun.
So much
You're
fun.
an absolute delight. I hope everybody goes and follows Dahlia.
Yeah,
This was such a lovely, exquisite experience.
I love it. And make sure y'all follow for the next episodes too. I'm excited to see what you guys do with this.
Thank you.
We've got a lot of exciting things down in the pipeline. So
For
we
sure.
will be back next week.
Love it.
And yeah, as I said, I am Paul. I also have social media. I am at Mermaid Fairy. That's mermaid_FAERIE.
I'm Amanda 1986.
And yeah,
And that is it.
This
Thanks,
is
everyone.
the Amanda Bynes and Paul Sieminski podcast.
That's right.
Yay.
Yay.
Thanks, Dahlia.
Thank you, Dahlia.
Thanks.